Welcome to this explainer. Since we have a bit more time today with this longer format, we're going to really dig deep into something incredibly exciting for anyone who loves traveling the seas. We are unlocking the cruise industry's highly coveted secret menu. I mean, if you've ever walked into your cabin, dropped your bags, and thought, well, this is great, but could it be tailored just a little bit more to me? You are in exactly the right place. Knowing these hidden upgrades can completely transform your vacation. And the best part? It doesn't cost you an extra dime. Let's dive right in. So it's a pretty serious question you've got to ask yourself. Are you missing out? Whether you're a totally first-time cruiser trying to figure out how this whole massive system works, or a seasoned sailor with, a dozen lanyards stuffed in a kitchen drawer at home, there are hidden perks, completely unspoken upgrades, and little-known customizations that you can absolutely request on your next voyage. Because these aren't printed in some glossy brochure or listed on the cruise line's website, they kind of remain this whispered secret among veteran travelers. Most people just accept their cabin exactly as they find it on embarkation day, simply because they literally don't know they have options. But once you understand what's actually possible, what's quietly waiting in the wings for those who just ask, it's a total game changer for your vacation experience. All right, let's jump into Section 1, the cabin steward defined. And trust me, they are way more than just housekeeping. There is a huge core difference between a standard land-based vacation and a cruise, and it begins right at your cabin door. Think about it. When you stay at a regular hotel, housekeeping typically comes in, does a quick clean, swaps out your towels, and quietly leaves. You rarely, if ever, actually see them. But a cruise steward, they operate on an entirely different level. Yes, they meticulously clean your cabin, often once or even twice a day, depending on who you're sailing with. But they're also your primary point of contact for daily communications from the ship. And more importantly for us today, they are the ones empowered to personalize and completely customize your living space to fit your specific needs. They almost always come by to personally introduce themselves on embarkation day, and you'll usually spot their name proudly displayed on a little card right on your desk. They are basically your dedicated host for the entire week. Now, a lot of us, especially when we're just discovering these unspoken perks, we experience a bit of, cruiser's guilt. We think, I don't want to be a bother or create extra work for the hardworking crew. But here is an absolutely crucial takeaway you need to remember. Make your requests on day one. Seriously, asking early is the best thing you can do. It actually makes your steward's job so much easier. If you tell them right up front how you like your ice bucket or exactly how you want your bed configured for the week, they can just seamlessly build that into their daily, structured routine right from the start. It's way, way better than having them scramble to adjust their whole workflow halfway through the sailing just because you finally worked up the courage to ask on day 4. Moving right along to Section 2, upgrading bed and bath. This is all about maximizing your absolute comfort. So, are you not getting your beauty sleep on board? This is a surprisingly common issue, and honestly, kind of a tragedy since you're supposed to be relaxing. You're on vacation, the waves are gently rocking the ship, but maybe the bed is just way too firm, or even more commonly in the cruise world, your cabin has 2 twin beds that have been shoved together to create what is supposedly a queen-size bed. And what happens? You inevitably end up rolling right into that highly annoying, seemingly bottomless crack straight down the middle of the mattresses at 3 a.m. It is the ultimate sleep disruptor when you're just trying to get some rest before your early morning shore excursion. But look, you really don't have to suffer in silence. There are some rapid-fire solutions you can request from your steward the second you meet them. First off, ask for a mattress topper. They can lay a thick plush topper right down over those pushed-together twins to completely mask that dreaded crack, making it feel like one unified, seamless mattress. Next up, pillows. If you find the standard ones a bit too stiff or flat, let your steward know. They often have entirely different types of pillows tucked away in storage that might perfectly suit your sleeping style. Finally, if you're lucky enough to have a balcony, especially on a breathtaking but chilly itinerary like Alaska or the Norwegian fjords, you can actually request a soft blanket specifically designed for outdoor use. Just picture yourself wrapped up warm and cozy, sipping hot coffee on your private balcony while actual glaciers float past. It's an incredible upgrade, and it costs absolutely nothing. And hey, speaking of blankets, there's actually this hilarious bit of community lore surrounding one very specific item out there on the seas. According to seasoned cruisers, there is, and I quote, a Carnival blue fleece blanket that is wonderful and comfortable. It's practically legendary in cruise circles at this point. Lots of highly experienced cruisers sailing on Carnival specifically hunt down and request this exact blue fleece blanket from their stewards the moment they board. They know exactly what to ask for to maximize their coziness. It really just goes to show that knowing the somewhat hidden inventory of your particular cruise line can lead to some incredibly comfortable upgrades you'd literally never know about otherwise. Okay, let's move from the bed to the bathroom and the closet. When you first get into your stateroom, you'll typically find two standard sets of towels. Now, if you've got 3 or 4 people crammed into that cabin, you are going to run out immediately. Save everyone the headache and just tell your steward on day 1 to add extra daily towels to their rotation. Also, take a look around for bathrobes. Lots of contemporary and premium cruise lines provide free plush bathrobes for you to use, though sometimes it totally depends on your cabin category or your past guest loyalty status. But if they aren't hanging up waiting for you, just ask. The exact same logic applies to the closet. It is a universal truth of travel that cruise ship closets never ever seem to have enough hangers by default. You open those double doors and find what? Exactly 10 hangers for a 7-day voyage? If you love to unpack everything so it doesn't wrinkle, ask the steward for an extra bundle of hangers right away. And finally, if you need them for medical reasons, Sharps containers can easily be requested for your bathroom if one isn't already there. Let's dive into Section 3, everyday cabin conveniences. Let's elevate that living space. So when it comes to your in-room beverages and daily living stuff, the rules have actually changed a bit over the years. Back in the day, stewards filled ice buckets universally in every single room twice a day. Well, they don't do that automatically anymore, mostly because they realized not everyone actually uses the ice and it was wasting a ton of water and energy. But if you want it, all you have to do is ask on day 1, and magically, your bucket will be full and waiting for you every single afternoon. Also, did you happen to bring a permitted bottle of wine on board to celebrate, but totally forgot a way to open it? Don't panic. Your steward can usually lend you a corkscrew, and on some lines, they'll even give you a cruise line branded one to keep as a cool little souvenir. And please, to drink that wine, do not use the little plastic bathroom cups. You can simply ask your steward to deliver proper wine or champagne glasses directly to your room. It saves you a trek to a busy bar and lets you toast your vacation right in the comfort of your own cabin. All right, now we come to the highly debated topic of the cabin fan. If you're someone who absolutely needs moving air or white noise to fall asleep, your instinct might be to ask your steward to bring you a fan. Anecdotally, some cruisers report they still have luck with this and a fan miraculously appears. However, officially, many lines are completely stopping this practice due to safety, maintenance, or just plain inventory issues. Carnival, for instance, has firmly stated they no longer provide fans to guests. So while you might get lucky, you really have to weigh the risk here. Relying on a steward for a fan could result in a miserably hot, stuffy, and sleepless week if they happen to say no. Packing your own, small, portable, travel-approved fan is definitely the absolute safest bet here. But beyond fans and ice, your steward can physically alter your space in other truly incredible ways. If you walk in and your bed is set up as a queen, but you're traveling with a buddy and wanted 2 twins, or vice versa, they will swiftly rearrange it for you before nighttime. If you're traveling with kids and they're sleeping on a pull-out sofa or a pull-down trundle bed, you absolutely do not have to navigate around that frustrating obstacle all day long. You can request the steward to pack those beds securely away during the daytime to give you your floor space back. Speaking of floor space, is there a bulky, annoying coffee table eating up the middle of your room? Ask them to remove it entirely. They'll just take it away. And here is my absolute personal favorite upgrade. If you're traveling with friends or family in the cabin right next door, you can often ask the steward to physically open the partition on your balconies. Sometimes this takes a quick nod from guest services, but once that divider is unlocked, you essentially double your outdoor square footage. It creates this one massive shared outdoor deck, which is absolutely amazing for families and group celebrations. Next up, Section 4, Managing Special Accommodations. And listen close because timeline is everything here. So while your steward is basically a superhero, certain medical and accessibility needs require a totally different approach. You cannot wait until you meet your steward to handle these items. If you do, you're probably going to be out of luck upon sailing. Let's break it down. Step 1. If you use a CPAP machine, you absolutely must note this on your booking with the cruise line or your travel agent long before you sail, ensuring a compliant extension cord is already waiting in your room because regular cords are often confiscated at security. Step 2. You'll need distilled water for that machine. It is not free, and you must pre-purchase it before the cruise begins so the crew knows to deliver it to your cabin on day 1. Step 3. If you need a mobility scooter or a wheelchair, hear this clearly. This is not handled by the cabin steward at all. You need to proactively rent these through authorized third-party organizations like Scoot Around or Special Needs at Sea, who will coordinate with the cruise line and make sure the equipment is waiting for you right at the ship. Do not leave this to chance.
Now, there is one accessibility item that kind of straddles the line between pre-planning and asking on board, and that's shower seats. While they're certainly not universally guaranteed unless you specifically booked a fully accessible stateroom, there are a lot of anecdotal reports from travelers that you can successfully request a standalone shower seat upon arrival on some ships. So if you find yourself needing just a bit of extra stability in the cabin bathroom, it is absolutely worth having a friendly conversation with your steward to see if they have one available on inventory. I mean, it never hurts to ask, right?
And finally, Section 5, the unexpected extras. Let's talk about the fun bonuses. Let's look at the purely fun stuff, the little unexpected touches that add an absolute dash of magic to your voyage. We've all seen the famous cruise towel animals, right? Well, some cruise lines do this automatically every single night, while others have significantly scaled back to save time and reduce towel washing. But if you love them, or if you've got kids who actively look forward to them after dinner, simply tell your steward. They are usually more than happy to make sure a new creative towel animal appears on your bed daily. Also, while most ship schedules have moved entirely over to smartphone apps, if you're someone who prefers a physical paper copy of the daily cruise planner to highlight your activities, your steward can usually hunt down extra printed copies for you. And finally, don't forget the incredible luxury of room service. While the steward doesn't personally cook or deliver the food, it's a stellar cabin perk. Free room service is becoming incredibly rare in the modern cruise industry, which makes taking advantage of the free continental breakfast an even better secret menu item. On lines like Carnival, you can still get pastries, fruit, and coffee delivered for free, often between 6 and 10 a.m. Seriously, it's the perfect way to wake up. Let's pause for a second to synthesize everything we've covered, because directing your specific requests to the right department is vital for a smooth, stress-free trip. On one hand, you have the domain of your cabin steward. They are the ones handling your daily ice bucket fills, getting you those extra towels and hangers, unlocking your balcony partitions, and physically rearranging your beds or removing furniture. On the other hand, you have items handled by entirely different departments or outside vendors. This includes your actual room service food delivery, renting your mobility scooters, and procuring your pre-purchased distilled water for medical devices. Keeping the structure straight in your mind just ensures you're efficiently directing your needs to the people who can actually fulfill them. Ultimately, though, the absolute best upgrade you can get on any cruise is grounded in simple mutual respect. A good relationship goes a very, very long way. Treat your cabin steward kindly, greet them with a warm smile when you pass in the hallway, and communicate your needs clearly, politely, and early on embarkation day. Remember, these incredibly hardworking individuals are away from their own families for months at a time, dedicated to making your vacation special. When you build a friendly rapport and treat them as the vital professionals they are, they will inevitably go above and beyond to make sure your space is absolutely perfect. Some cruisers even choose to give a little cash tip at the very beginning of the week, in addition to the automatic daily gratuities, just to show their deep appreciation right off the bat. But of course, that is entirely a personal choice. We've uncovered a massive amount of hidden potential for your next voyage today. You are now equipped with total insider knowledge, from bridging that dreaded twin bed gap, to opening up massive shared balconies for your whole family, to securing that legendary blue fleece blanket to stay warm by the glaciers. So I leave you with this final thought to ponder as you zip up your suitcases and pack your bags. Armed with all this new knowledge, which secret menu item will you request first on your very next embarkation day? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and happy cruising.